Hi guys, I'm Laura Vitale, and on this episode of Laura in the Kitchen, I want to share with you something that is just so good and delicious. It is my croissant bread pudding. I like to call this like buttery goodness pudding because you've got the buttery flaky croissant with the custard, and when it bakes, it's just like heaven. Like open the gates, and all you hear are food angels going, oh, this is so good. The best thing about this is I'm using some leftover croissants that have been, they're kind of stale now. They're a few days old. So I have them just torn in a buttered baking dish, just like, I don't know, I would say 9 by 13. And then I've got some milk, eggs, heavy cream, sugar, vanilla paste, and I've got some bourbon. Now you don't have to add the bourbon if you don't want to. I'm making this a bit more grown up because I've got some friends coming over tonight for dinner, and it just gives you a nice little spice in the background. It's not going to be too strong because we're not using a lot of it, but it is going to make a little bit of a difference, and I just love it. So anyway, also comment down below if you want to see a homemade croissant recipe next week or the week after that, because I have a great homemade croissant recipe that I would love to share with you, but it is time consuming. So let me know down below if you want to see that, and I will bring it to you. Anyways, let's get started. It's so easy. It's so simple. I mean, all you're going to do is take your milk, your eggs. This is, apparently, I want to make a mess today. It's eggy, it's delicious, it works, just trust me. I'm going to add my sugar. Also, I had a small pinch of salt on the sugar. I'm going to add my vanilla paste, which you can absolutely use vanilla extract. It will work wonderfully. But I just love the little extra goodness from the vanilla paste. And I just like that you can see the little seeds running through the whole thing. So I'm going to add that. I'm going to hold off on adding my bourbon and my cream until I've beaten my eggs and sugar, because as you can see, once I add those ingredients, it's going to pretty much overflow. So I'll add those right when I'm about to pour the custard mixture over my croissants. Just going to add my cream and my shot of bourbon. A little bit of attitude going into my croissant pudding. Ah, it's so good. It puffs up, and croissants are naturally really buttery, so therefore it's kind of like a buttery, custardy goodness that happens that you're going to have to just trust me when I tell you it's delicious. I'm going to pour this all over my croissants, and the eggs are also going to help it kind of get really nice and puffy and golden. And dunk the croissants in that custard as much as you can, and then what you're going to do is you're going to let this oven's preheated for a different recipe. What you're going to do now is let this sit for a couple of hours. You want that croissant to soak up as much of the custard as possible, because what happens now, if you were to bake it right now, the outside of all the pieces of croissants are coated with the custard, but it hasn't had a chance to seep all the way through yet. I want this custard to seep all the way through. You could even do this the night before and put it in the fridge if you wanted to. I'm going to pop this in the fridge for just a couple of hours, and then we'll be ready to bake it. My croissants have been soaking up that delicious custard for a couple of hours now in the fridge. The longer you let it go for, the better it'll be. I'm going to pop it in the oven now because I have no patience. Let's be honest. The oven's preheated at 350. This baby's gonna go in for around an hour until it's puffed and golden and set in the center, and we are that much closer to a fabulous, fabulous dessert. Now this was in the oven for around an hour, and I've let it cool for about 10 minutes. When it comes out of the oven, it'll be much more puffed up and it'll start to deflate a bit. But as you can see, it's a beautiful, beautiful golden brown color, which is exactly what you're looking for, and it's set just perfectly, so it's not really hard set. You want it just to be set. That's how you'll know it's done. Now the edges, those real crispy bits, are my favorite, but it's all delicious. I'm gonna just serve myself a little bit here so you can see what we are working with. Look at that. There's still a little bit of a wobble to it, which means it's gonna be so custardy. But if you look right in here, you can see that everything, I'm trying to shake it so you can see it's still a tiny bit wobbly, but it's just been the custard was just soaked up by that croissant, and it just smells like incredible in here, like the most amazing bakery ever. Let's give this a go. I love those bits right there. Still steaming. So good. That bourbon just comes through. which of course you can leave it out if you want to, but it's incredibly delicious. It's so simple. You can do this in just a few minutes. All the work is in the fridge while it's setting up and in the oven while it bakes, with no involvement from you. So it's great to put together last minute. Go to laurainthekitchen.com to get this recipe. I hope you enjoy spending time with me, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.